Hey everybody, it is Dave. Welcome in. It is time for module number 2. Congratulations for making it through the first module, and welcome to all of those who have joined us over the past week. In module number 2, we're going to continue our study of the Italian Renaissance. In fact, we're going to finish the Renaissance this week. We're going to learn about what art was like during the 1400s and 1500s, and that's really some important time periods because in the 1400s, everything we learn in art class today about like perspective and foreshortening, chiaroscuro, that was all invented in the exact same century, the 1400s. In the 1500s, we have the emergence of the incredible artists. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael. They've practiced, they've learned how to do all the techniques, and now they're branching out into really changing what art is like. We're also going to have a lecture on what art was like outside of Italy. We're going to go up to Northern Europe and see the way that art developed there. So those are the 3 lectures for this week. We're going to have a couple of journals, and then we also have a museum gallery event, which has you filling out a worksheet. So I'm going to go ahead and send you over to the Canvas site, and I'll walk you through this week's module. All right, here we are on the Canvas site. This week is module number 2. We're going to be finishing out the Renaissance. Up top, the video you're watching right now is here. For the module 2 introduction, it just tells you about the different lectures, what you're going to expect to see in them. We do have the 3 lectures and we have the objectives. Finally, the assessments, the museum visit, and 2 journal entries. This is the first week that I do have office hours available to you. They're Wednesdays from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And if you would, because what I do is I give you a Zoom link right there at the top, just please let me know that you're at Chaffey College and that you're in my Art 5 class. All the schools I teach at, they just go to this one link. So if you do have a question, just helps me to know where you are from. Then we can delve into the lectures. The first one, Italy in the 15th century. This is where all the techniques that we learn today in art school, everything from linear perspective to chiaroscuro, is found in this time period. I've got the lecture, the study guide, and then the further exploration section. This is not really too important, the list of Florentine guilds. In fact, I'll probably delete that. But what is important here are the readings, portraiture in Renaissance and Baroque Europe, and also this is an optional text, Perspective Made Easy. You're going to learn about perspective, and if that's something that's really interesting to you, this is like the Bible of perspective. It came out, I think, in like 1958, and it's a terrific book that's focused on perspective. It's free from Project Gutenberg, so you can always just tag that link. A video on how perspective works. This is slightly different than the way I teach it, but you can approach perspective from different points of view. This is an optional video because it is a little bit more on the longer side, about 30 minutes or so, but very interesting about the genesis of perspective. And the most important sculpture from this lecture is Donatello's David. So make sure to spend some time watching that. That will play a part on the midterm exam. Then we're going to jump into the 16th century, which is considered the late or high Renaissance, and this is where we get Michelangelo and Da Vinci and people like that. The lecture, the study guide, and then the further exploration section provides a tour of the Sistine Chapel, which is really cool. In fact, I'll go ahead and click on it real quick here. And then what you can do, because this place is just absolutely covered with art from floor to ceiling, you can turn the room around and you can zoom down, you can zoom up, you can even zoom in closer if you want. It's really a fantastic space. The Sistine Chapel isn't that large. It's only about maybe 7,000 square feet. But all the paintings on the side, you know, they're from the top artist of this time period. And then, of course, the ceiling by Michelangelo. And he didn't really want to paint the ceiling because he wanted to paint on the walls because that's where people would more commonly look. A couple of readings here, and also a short poem by Michelangelo. If you've never been to St. Peter's Basilica, and by the way, the Sistine Chapel, when you go to the Vatican, is like literally right over here to the left of St. Peter's Basilica. But this is filled with art, and it's a massive space. So this is about a 20-minute walking tour. You know, check it out. You know, you can jump ahead, of course, but definitely, you know, if you've never been, you got to check it out. The Baptism of Christ. This is the first time Da Vinci does any painting, and he does the secondary figures of this large work, which is Christ being baptized by John the Baptist. And then the angels in the lower left, which is what you're seeing here, are done by Da Vinci. We also have the Alba Madonna by Raphael, which is a round painting, and it's really quite cool. So check those out. After that, we've got the Renaissance in Northern Europe. So Northern European art looks different than Italian art. It's generally smaller, but it's heavily detailed. So a little bit of reading from the Limburg brothers, as well as painting in Northern Renaissance. Keep in mind, only read through Grunwald here. You don't have to read the entire article. The Arnolfini Marriage or Portrait. This is probably the most famous painting from Northern Europe. We have also some ways of printmaking. We're going to have the relief printmaking and intaglio printmaking processes. I talk a little bit about them in the lecture, but this actually shows you how they're done, and so that's really important to check out. We've got 2 journal entries this week, and remember, you do have some flexibility because when we get to Module 4, all that's in Module 4 is going to be the midterm and the submission assignment for the journals. So that's all that's done during week 4. So you have some time to catch up if you start to fall behind on the journals. I know in an 8-week class, it's a lot to do. Journal number 3 is going to actually have you do some drawing, turning 2-dimensional shapes like rectangles, squares, triangles into 3-dimensional objects like you see here. I have a step-by-step written instruction on how to do this. I also have a short video that I made that literally walks you through step 1, step 2, step 3. I do need 2 pictures of your project. One is a stage of your drawing, and then your completed drawing. It doesn't have to be this particular stage, but I need to see like the horizon line and the vanishing point and the idea that all these orthogonal lines merge to that vanishing point. The 4th journal, now that's going to be on the Last Supper painting. So make sure you've watched our lecture on Italy in the 16th century. You're going to download the PDF, and the PDF is going to give you 8 different options. You only have to choose 2 of the options. So this is what the Last Supper looks like today. This is what it would have looked like once it was newly completed. It's almost a totally different painting. But you might want to choose about line or color, light, composition, perspective, and so on. There are 2 questions. There's actually 3, but the 3rd is optional. You don't have to answer that. And you're going to answer the 2 questions. So 2 topics, 2 questions each. And let's go ahead and close that. There's only one more project that you have to turn in this week, and that is your museum gallery event. So I'm going to click on that. And what I would like you to do is to just visit 2 of these museums' websites. And basically, it's a website critique. Spend 30 minutes on each website and then gather the information you need to complete the worksheet. You must utilize the worksheet, okay? So don't try to do your own Word document or anything like that. What you're going to be doing is just downloading this and filling it out. It is a Word doc, and it will expand when you type into it. So what is the name of the museum you visited? Create a hyperlink for it, the museum's physical street address. On the landing page, what did you see? The menu options, navigation, best and worst parts of the site, the favorite type of artwork that the museum contained, choose a favorite work, describe it, why you like it, and any closing thoughts about the museum. If maybe you've been there before and you want to mention that. That is what I would like you to fill out. And what we'll do is I've got one completed work here. And this is from a past student. You don't have to do as amazing as this student did, but this was really a great work. So you've got 2, 3.5 pages, or a little bit more than just 3 pages. But if you're only doing maybe 1.5 pages, you know that it's not enough. It should be about 2, a little bit more than 2. But this is outstanding. I actually have you add the image of your favorite artwork from the museum. So that's an example for you to follow. These are the museum choices here. So you may want to compare like the LA County Museum of Art compared to like a private museum like the Getty. Or you might want to do Chicago versus the Louvre in Paris, the British Museum, the Broad, the Museum of Latin American Art. Whichever ones you want to do, this should lead you right to the home page. We'll see if that works. It does, and that's what you're going to be utilizing. You're going to look at all these different places and basically just give me a critique about the site. And again, it's just kind of a compare contrast against 2 museums. The project is due by the 26th, late date February the 2nd, and it is 30 points. There's no real rubric with this one. Basically, if you fill out the form really nice and neat and it's great, it's 30 points. An A- would be like 27, a B would be 24, a C would be 21, and that's generally what we've got. Keep in mind that this is a weird project where I have normally about 10% of students uploading a blank worksheet. Don't let that happen to you. Make sure you fill it out, press save, and then upload that worksheet. Again, please utilize the Word document. Do not create your own document. And I think that is everything for this week. Keep in mind, though, January 21st, the last day to drop without any marks on your transcript. I think you have maybe one more week? No? There we go. February 13th is the last day to drop the class with a W. So that is everything for this week. I will be back shortly to tell you about module number 3.